There's a lot of things to get to. I, like so many of you, listen to Colin Cowherd, and I don't know if you're this way, but I was listening yesterday to him wax poetic about LeBron James, which he has a tendency to do. And I was thinking to myself, like, he's making an interesting argument. But here we are, a day and a half removed from the Golden State Warriors being the NBA champions for the second time in 3 years. Kevin Durant winning an MVP. And now we're left kind of to pick up the pieces and start to understand what we just saw, how it affects the NBA, how should we view the Golden State Warriors, but maybe more than anything, how does this affect the legacy of LeBron James? And to the LeBron James defenders who continue to say, first guy to average a triple-double, okay, the consistency, wherever he goes, wins it, gets to an NBA Finals, 7 consecutive years, those are really, really good arguments. But I've been around, especially this sport, but sports for my entire life. And I've also been an arguer my entire life. I am a debater. And the one thing I know about debates is if you don't have a good argument, you change the argument, right? That's classic arguing 101. It's if you don't really have a good point, you change it. And you can win an argument that's a different topic or a different part of the discussion. And so when you're trying to measure up LeBron James versus Michael Jordan, or LeBron James even versus Kevin Durant in this NBA Finals, it's interesting what LeBron James fanboys, and Colin, frankly, has become. It's the guy who changes the argument, right? I mean, we see this in politics. Well, you look at the gross totals of voters. Like, no. In a national election for the presidency, it has been and is and will always be about what? The Electoral College. Like, don't change the argument. In the NBA, especially, what's the argument for who's the best player in a series? Right? Who won? Do the victors go the spoils? With the exception of Jerry West, that's always happened. Who played better down the stretch? I mean, it was Kevin Durant that played better down the stretch. And, oh, yeah, by the way, how did you play against a guy who's playing at your exact same position? I cannot argue the stats of the triple-double. I can give you context to those stats, which may change your mind, but I can't argue against the triple-double. It's an incredibly, the level of dominance for the entirety of 48-minute games we haven't seen in NBA Finals. But again, those are different arguments. And if we're going to change the argument about statistical dominance in comparison or instead of, in lieu of is a better way, in lieu of who actually wins or who actually performs better down the stretch, then we actually have to go back and change arguments for the last 50 years. If winning and losing isn't the end-all, be-all, end of argument, drop the microphone, then what happened to Wilt Chamberlain? Right? Then Wilt Chamberlain is, in fact, the greatest player to ever play in the NBA, period, stop. Statistically, he is far and away the most dominant player we have ever seen. He averaged 50 and 20 in a season. But what was the argument against Wilt? Didn't play well down the stretch, was dominated in the playoffs, at least, or in the finals, at his position by Bill Russell, who, oh yeah, by the way, and the end of every argument is who actually won. I get that you look at the stats, but first let me give you a little bit of context, okay? The triple-double thing is cool, but and maybe this is a problem with me, I think Colin's great, and I listen to him every day. So by listening to him every day, I'm going to do what really good debaters do. I'm going to use his own argument against him. His argument against Russell Westbrook is, well, of course he led the league with averaging a triple-double. He dominated the ball. If you handle the ball that much, if you shoot that much, then you're going to average more stats, more points, more assists, more rebounds, right? Well, LeBron James played 6 more minutes a game than Kevin Durant did. And if you look at the statistical analysis, Durant averaged more points, shot about the same percentage from the field, a much higher percentage from the free throw line, which is really where he separated himself points-wise. He averaged 47% from 3. But the numbers skew in favor of LeBron. Right? So those raw numbers, but I saw this stat floating around. It was a good one. In games 3 and games 4, okay, Kyrie Irving and LeBron James dribbled the ball 1,673 times. Micah Adams tweeted this out. Dribbled the ball 1,673 times. Just those two players. In comparison, the Golden State Warriors dribbled the ball as a complete team 1,501 times. Why does that help in my argument? It's very simple. The reason that LeBron's stats are so much greater than Kevin Durant's was that he dominated the ball more than Kevin Durant did. He played more minutes, had the ball more, dribbled the ball more, made more plays, and thus had greater stats. But stats are usually there to provide either context or especially tell a story if you didn't watch the game. We all watched the game. Who was better in games 1 and games 2 in the second half? Kevin Durant. Who won game 3 with the shot that will be most remembered from the NBA Finals 2017? That would be Kevin Durant over LeBron James. So he played better down the stretch. And even in that game 3, where it was, oh, look at the numbers for LeBron James. LeBron was 10 of 11 from the field in the first 12 minutes of the game. He's 5 of 16 the rest of the game. Help me out. Don't we make the argument against Clayton Kershaw, what he doesn't do in the 7th inning? When have we decided that the best quarterback in the NFL, or the best quarterback historically, is what he does in the first half? Tom Brady, for example, was crummy in the first half, the first 3 quarters, no less, of the Super Bowl. It's what you do at the end of the game, what you do in comparison to another guy at the same position. And does your team win? That's how we've always made sports arguments. But a funny thing happened on the way to LeBron being crowned better than Michael Jordan. They lost all the arguments. And so they've done what very smart people do. Change the debate. Change the debate. You know, we've changed the argument against Terrell Owens to be into the Hall of Fame. Well, it's not about they throw the football more, and he had all those catches with San Francisco, but they were bad with bad teams, and he was a bad team. Like, no. We're changing the argument to keep T.O. out of the Hall of Fame. He's a bad teammate, which translates onto the field, even though it didn't. His teams generally won on the football field. What you do when you don't have a good side of an argument is you change the argument. That's what very, very smart people have done in politics for a long time. For a long time. But that doesn't actually win you the original argument if you're paying attention. LeBron James is great. I'm not trying to dispute that. I'm not trying to dispute that he's not a profoundly impactful basketball player. But we say, well, he didn't want to shoot the ball at the end of game 3 because he wanted to make the right basketball play. He's not surrounded by a good enough team. Oh, yeah, and he averaged a triple-double even though he dominated the ball.